Middle East tonight at 8 in a Top Gear special. Now, Boxing Day on BBC Two, time to get the lowdown with Final Score.
Hello and a very Merry Christmas to you all. And if you didn't get the present you had your heart set on, you might get 3 points today. Your Boxing Day final score aims to please. And bringing their Christmas cheer to the party today, your experts are Mark Bright and Martin Keown. Merry Christmas to you, chaps. Let's bring you, though, right up to speed with the scores in the Premier League right now. A couple of matches postponed because of the weather and an evening kick-off at Villa Park. And the early kick-off was at Craven Cottage. 2 goals from Carlton Cole gave West Ham their first away win for 16 months. That result lifts the Hammers off the bottom. It's Blackburn 0, Stoke 1 at the moment, them leading at Ewood Park through a Robert Huth header. Bolton 1, West Brom 0. Matt Taylor's goal put in-form Bolton ahead against West Brom. Manchester United 2, Sunderland 0. Leaders United 2 goals in front against Sunderland, both of them scored by Dimitar Berbatov, although the second took a heavy deflection. And we're just hearing that Andy Carroll has just scored, so that's 1-2 there at St James's Park. It was second-place Manchester City who took the lead there. Gareth Barry right at the start of the match. Carlos Tevez a few minutes later, but Newcastle back into it now with just about 15 minutes to go. And it's Wolves 0, Wigan 2. Wigan on course to climb out of the relegation zone. Hugo Rodallega and Tom Cleverley have netted at Wolves, who took, well, they look set to drop to the foot of the table, Wolves. Let's have a look at the SPL. A few matches postponed there, and a rare day to see Celtic and Rangers both playing on the same day and not against each other. But at the moment, no goals at Celtic Park. Celtic 0, St Johnstone 0. It's Hibs 1, Aberdeen 2. The visitors ahead in Craig Brown's first game in charge. They went into the game on a 7-match losing run. Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1, St Mirren 1. And Motherwell 1, Rangers 4. Goals galore at Fir Park. Kenny Miller scored twice, taking his SPL tally to 21 for the season so far. OK, let's head to our reporters around the grounds. We're going to Old Trafford first. You've heard there that Manchester United leading 2-0, but Damien Johnson could have been so much more, especially in the first half.
Absolutely, Gabby. Good afternoon. 2 goals from top scorer Dimitar Berbatov hardly tell the full story of United's dominance this afternoon. The first, a header from Wayne Rooney's cross after a great run from Ryan Giggs early on. The second, a deflected shot in the second half. That is 13th of the season. The league leaders have twice hit the woodwork through Berbatov and Anderson. Rooney was just off target with a delicious chip. A host of other chances. Sunderland have barely had a kick. Berbatov might have had a hat-trick, a spectacular shot on the turn a few moments ago was saved by Gordon in the Sunderland goal. It's comfortable for United. They lead 2-0.
Not so comfortable for Man City at St James's Park. Steve Sutton, Newcastle United getting right back into this.
Yes, they are. They're threatening again. The ball just gone wide there. Newcastle piling on the pressure. A bitterly cold afternoon, I have to say, Gabby, but a blisteringly hot match. A boiling start for Manchester City. 1 up after a minute, 2 ahead inside 6. The first Christmas gift wrapped by Newcastle keeper Tim Krul. His weak clearance intercepted by Carlos Tevez. His inch-perfect pass found Gareth Barry on a charge into the box, and his low, hard drive giving the keeper no chance. Tevez himself on the score sheet 5 minutes later. His pass to the right found James Milner. His return found Tevez again on the edge of the 6-yard box, and his shot high into the net. The game simmered throughout, and on 72, Newcastle finally got their reward. Andy Carroll rising above everybody else from a corner. It's Newcastle 1, Manchester City 2.
Leicester have got one back there at the Walker Stadium. Leeds were leading 2 goals to 0. It's 2-1 at the moment. The lunchtime kick-off today in the Premier League, though, was at Craven Cottage. West Ham were the visitors. They hadn't won away since the beginning of last season. John Motson was there to see the rewriting of that particular stat.
Virtually sealed the victory. This means that West Ham have made up the 3 points on Fulham that they lagged behind before today's game. It's turned round the bottom of the table. It's Fulham 1, West Ham 3.
So huge pressure then at the bottom of the table, and 2 of those teams, Wolves and Wigan, meeting at Molineux. Steve Lee's watching this one.
Yes, the big relegation cruncher in the Midlands going very much the way of Wigan at the moment. They could move out of the bottom three with the victory here tonight. They've been sharper, hungrier and more composed than their opponents. 2 goals in the opening 20 minutes set them on their way. Really poor defending from Wolves, allowed a corner to be recycled into the box. Hugo Rodallega held off the challenge of 2 defenders to fire past Hennessy. And then the Colombian laid a lovely ball into the path of Tom Cleverley, who made it 2. Wolves had a penalty shout when Gahuri failed Ward, and Wigan keeper Ali Al-Habsi stuck out a boot to stop a Milias free kick. But Wigan, though, asking all the questions here at Molyneux. They lead by 2-0.
Bolton will be 5th if things stay as they are right now. They're playing against West Brom at the Reebok Stadium. Any signs of a comeback from West Brom, Mark Bishop?
They're trying, Gabby, but at the moment it's all Bolton Wanderers. They lead by 1-0. Over 23,000 at the Reebok, watching an informed Bolton side very much in the ascendancy, thanks to Matt Taylor's crisp strike, his first goal for Bolton since April the 17th. I have to say, on a perfect playing pitch here, West Bromwich Albion guilty of squandering 2 great chances in the first half. The culprit, Peter Odemwingie, beat the offside trap for the first time, 6 yards out, skewed the ball wide. Second time, the Nigerian out on the right-hand side did everything right, cut in, and then instead of shooting, tried to pass to Dorrans, easily intercepted by Cahill. Odemwingie again missing another good opportunity in the 67th minute. Chris Brunt then hitting the crossbar for West Brom, just not going their way at the moment. And then Ishmael Miller, the substitute for the Baggies. An effort goal-bound, but somehow Cahill got his body in the way. Great game. Bolton lead by 1-0.
Blackburn Rovers have only ever lost 1 of 15 Premier League matches on Boxing Day. They're behind at the moment at Ewood Park. Andrew James, any sign they're going to get anything from this, Blackburn?
Not at all, Gabby. They're very poor today, Blackburn. More of that in a moment. Stokes' goal coming early in the second half from Robert Huth, a header from Etherington's corner. Etherington's been behind most of the good things for Stoke, although he did have a bad miss early in the first half. But it's been very poor from Blackburn, who made 3 changes today. We did say before the game that if there was no other matches on today, this would still be last on Match of the Day. Well, that would have been generous on the first half display. The home fans have been chanting for Jack Walker. The Stoke fans have been taunting with chants of "there's only one Big Sam." And Steve Keane, made manager for the season here at Blackburn, of course, this week. He's wearing a new suit and new shoes, but he may have to mothball those soon on this display. It's Stoke winning 1-0.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I must ask him later how he knows exactly that they're new. Maybe he's left the price on the bottom of the shoes. Fatal mistake. Manchester United, first half, certainly should have scored more than the 1 Berbatov goal that they managed. Looking good, looking like they're in some kind of form.
Other side of Christmas and Manchester United just go through the gears.
It's only 12 hours, though.
Well, exactly. Already looking convincing. And Berbatov, the player, the standout player, of course, he was dropped last time out. We wanted to see how he react. And today he looks different class. And lucky deflection for the second goal. But, you have to question a little bit. Steve Bruce, I think this is the 16th occasion now that he's played against his old boss. And he simply doesn't get any change from Alex. And, Man United looking ominous again.
What's that about? Is that a mental thing? Do you think a mental barrier, Brighty, that he comes up against his old boss?
I think it... Oh... Nolan just missed. Sorry. Steve Bruce, I think he's got several injuries. Catamol's out, Richardson's out. I have to say, Manchester United started so fast, it looked like they had 13, 14 players on the pitch and should have scored more goals. And they're playing against a team who've got something like 9 clean sheets. Sunderland got one of the best defences, but I think they've just been decimated by a few injuries.
Manchester City, of course, started very quickly as well. Perhaps you had to be cruel to be kind when it came to the goalkeeper, though.
Yeah, Tim Krul, the goalkeeper, really terrible, wasn't he?
Took you a while, but you got it right.
Terrible start to the game. But listen, at the moment, Newcastle really back into this game. They've grabbed a goal from Andy Carroll. They've done well up to that point, looking after him, and they've just missed again there with Nolan. So Newcastle might just pinch something at the end of this game.
It's been a fantastic game, but Newcastle undone themselves in the first 5 minutes. Gave a goal away after just over a minute and then another one to Tevez.
And because of the postponed fixtures, it's amazing to think this is only Alan Pardew's second game in charge as well.
But you know what? After that second goal, they really came back into it. Could have scored another goal. Newcastle could have got back into it earlier. Carroll's got the goal. It's been back and forth. And, in the highlights later tonight on Match of the Day, it will be a fantastic...
A cracker.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh.
Come on, stay with me. Too much turkey, man. Let's head up north of the border and go to Fir Park. Ian Turner, are you being royally entertained there?
Yes, I think I'm enjoying myself as much as you appear to be in the studio, Gabby. Motherwell 1, Rangers 4. Rangers will be staying atop the SPL for the time being. because they're in complete control here. Kenny Miller has grabbed his 20th and 21st SPL goals of the season for the champions, but the real star, I have to say, has been Vladimir Weiss on loan from Manchester City. He's made some thrilling, mazy runs. He scored Rangers' third, which came 3 minutes after Motherwell had given themselves a lifeline through John Sutton. The remaining Rangers goal, the second, was an own goal from Stephen Saunders, but it'll have little effect because Rangers deserve this margin. Motherwell won, Rangers 4.
OK, let's go to St James's Park. Steve Sutton, there's been a goal.
Yes, it has. It's gone to Manchester City. It's Newcastle 1, Manchester City 3. City were on the attack, they were threatening, and it was Carlos Tevez, I think, with a shot that took a wicked deflection into the back of the net. Tevez getting all the applause anyway. Newcastle 1, Man City 3.
Well, he's incredible, isn't he? And that's why it was so important for them to hang on to him.
Well, it goes in off Colaccini, doesn't it? It's fair to say. Good play from Tevez, just outside the 6-yard box, comes back onto his right foot, takes a shot. To me, it looks like it might be missing the target, hits Colaccini on the backside and goes in.
If you're going to win championships, though, that's how you have to respond. At 2-1, they were in trouble, and now they've gone up the other end and scored, so party hats for them now.
It's another skill, another feather, if you like, in the cap, isn't it?
Hats.
Yeah, I know.
Stay with it, Gabby.
I know, you're pulling them out of the bag, you really are. OK, let's have a look at what's been going on in the Championship. Well, a few games postponed as well in the Championship, but earlier today, you can see QPR played against Swansea in the lunchtime kickoff. The leaders equalled their best win of the season at lunchtime. Adel Taarabt scored twice and set up another. At the moment, it's Barnsley 1, Burnley 2, and it's Cardiff 1, Coventry City 0. Leicester 2, Leeds 2. Leeds were 2-0 up there, and it's 3-1 to Reading against Bristol City, and Sheffield United 2. They've got right back into that. They were 2-0 down to Hull City. But let's go straight to the Walker Stadium and get the latest from Tony Lockwood.
Thank you, Gabby. Some comeback for Sven-Göran Eriksson's side. Leeds look to be coasting. Max Gradel scoring his third goal in 2 games early on. Robert Snodgrass, an angle strike that flew into the top corner, underlining Leeds' superiority. But when Schmeichel upended Darius Vassell, Paul Gallagher stepped up to score the resulting spot kick, and then Andy King, the Leicester captain, from 25 yards with a sweetly struck half volley off the underside of the bar, and Leicester are right back in it, 2-2.
Cardiff have only won 1 of their last 7. Jason Mohammed is at the City of Cardiff Stadium for us today.
Gabby, Merry Christmas to you. Cardiff City's Christmas record is poor. No wins on Boxing Day since 1999. But Craig Bellamy, Michael Chopra and Peter Whittingham have warmed up the fans with a classy Christmas show. Gabby, they really should be 3 or 4-0 up. Kieran Westwood, the Coventry keeper, has been outstanding, saving from Chris Riggott, Michael Chopra and Bellamy. But he could do little about Shea Olofinyana's goal. He came steaming into the box to smash home Bellamy's cross, his 4th of the season. Coventry have rarely threatened and had a goal ruled out on 63 minutes. Lukas Jukovic offside. 9 minutes to go here. Cardiff City 1, Coventry City 0.
Jason, thank you very much. So, a great comeback from Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. Mark Webber, tell us more.
Sheffield United 2, Hull City 2, but that scoreline doesn't tell half the story, Gabby. A Boxing Day game with punch, but for all the wrong reasons. 2 10-man brawls, fans ejected from the Hull stands, 2 players stretch it off, the worst of which when Kevin Kelban, his head streaming with blood after connecting with Ched Evans' leg. You could see the red war paint from Rose Edge. Sheffield United capitulated quicker than the Aussie first innings after losing a goal in the first 3 minutes. Jay Simpson got his second later on in that half, but they've been dynamic in this second half. Evans pulling the game back from the brink of the dead. 2 goals, low and small, at the tail end of this half. No peace and goodwill to any men here on the pitch, but it could be a great result for one of them. 2-2.
Mark, thank you very much. A high-scoring affair at the Madejski Stadium so far. David Garrido, tell us more.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Gabby. Reading 3, Bristol City 1. The Royals closing in on the playoffs, having come back from a goal down here. John Stead continuing his record of scoring against Reading by tapping in a rebound from close range after Stephen Corker's chip had come back off the bar. Jem Karashan had a fierce header tipped against the post by David James, but he himself followed up. That was the equaliser. Then Bristol City's Albert Adoma surrendered possession inside his own box. Shane Long squaring for Noel Hunt to stab home for 2-1. Since the break, the game has opened up, and so has the City defence. Long played in behind, finished past James, in off the post. That should be game over. We've still got 3 minutes to play, though. Reading 3, Bristol City 1.
Oh, missed that.
Let's go to the Reebok Stadium. There's been a goal, Mark Bishop.
Over 23,000 at the Reebok, Gabby, and most of them in jubilation because Bolton now lead West Bromwich Albion by 2-0. Prizing open that defence was Johan Almander. Took his time, slotted the ball past Carson into the bottom left-hand corner. All this after Odowinki for West Brom had squandered 2 good chances in the first half. Fronted it the crossbar for Albion in the second. But it's Bolton now going on course for 25 points from 19 games. They lead 2-0.
And you can see there's been another goal for Jason Mohammed to tell us about Craig Bellamy this time.
Yeah, Craig Bellamy has just scored against his former club, Coventry City. Fired in a shot from 25 yards, took a wicked deflection off a centre-half. In fact, I don't know who it came off. Wrong-footed the keeper, and Cardiff City lead by 2-0.
OK, let's go to Oakwell now. Alan Biggs, Burnley haven't won away this season. Is today the day?
Yeah, Burnley, it could well be, Gabby. Burnley's playoff bid blighted by chronic travel sickness until today, possibly. This could finally be their first away win of the season. It would be at the 10th attempt. They're leading 2-1 against Barnsley here. It didn't look likely in the first half, a sluggish Burnley display, and Adam Habble's 8th goal of the season for Barnsley put them one up. A great run from him onto Goran Lovray's defence-splitting pass. But Burnley struck twice at the start of the second half. John Guidetti with a free header from Elliott's cross. Guidetti's first on loan from Manchester City, having hit the post earlier. Vindication for the dropping today of top scorer Iwelumo. Then another header, Andre Biquet at the near post connecting with Wallace's corner. Burnley very lively in this second half and deservedly are leading 2-1.
Let's go to Molineux. There's been a goal. Steve Lee, tell us about it.
Yes, it's now Wolves 1, Wigan 2. It may be too late, but Steve Fletcher, the substitute for Wolves, has just grabbed one back. A really scrappy effort too from close range. Wigan really have played all the football here. They've got the goals through Rodallega and Cleverley, but Steve Fletcher has pulled a goal back. Could we have a late rally?
Another goal at the Madejski Stadium, David Garrido.
And it's the home fans celebrating. The point's definitely safe now. A second goal from Shane Long. A fine strike too with his right foot. So McAnuff and Noel Hunt to get them going. But 2 from Shane Long have secured the points for Reading. 4-1 now against Bristol City.
Thank you, David. Well, we can catch our breath and just talk about Johan Almander. That's his 9th of the season, and he's a big part, well, obviously Owen Coyle as well, but a big part of why they're going to be 5th tonight if things stay as they are.
He got lucky, I think. We have to both agree he got lucky. He got inside the 18-yard box, tried to square it, deflected back to him. There was a little gap between the goalkeeper and the near post, slid it in. Full credit to him. He tried to do the right thing first by squaring it, and then when it came back to him, obviously the goalkeeper moved over. But 9 goals, I never thought I'd see him get double figures. I just didn't think he was greedy enough. I didn't think he was strong enough. He didn't look fit enough. But this season...
What's the difference? The manager?
Well, I don't...
Confidence, isn't it?
I think, yeah, as a striker, confidence. I think he scored an excellent goal. I think one of the best goals of the season inside the 18-yard box when he had 3 defenders around him, used both feet, turned and slotted it in a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, you know what, that is such a confidence thing. And he is now right at the top of his game. I think playing alongside Kevin Davies.
He'll rarely score a luckier goal, though, but it was his endeavour at the start. He goes on a little mazy, gets it back, then he makes his cross and then gets it back again, almost apologetically. He puts it into the goal. So, you know, great if you can get them, you know, but I unfortunately never got opportunities.
And we've just seen Tevez go off for Balotelli at St James's Park. And it was a handshake with Mancini this time from Tevez, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it looks like the fans have forgiven him. And I have to say, every time I see him play, he grafts and grafts and grafts for the team, you know, and he scored 1 goal. The other one was deflected. I'm not sure he's going to get that one, but it's a great performance from the captain.
Balotelli's body language again, though, when he comes on. He doesn't even want to be there. You know, he's a young kid. He's a great opportunity for him. He really needs to sort himself out.
I think that says it all. Oh, yeah. That's not the turkey going down from yesterday. OK, let's go to Celtic Park. Brian McLaughlin. It's not the most entertaining on paper, this one, from where I'm sitting. Does it look better from where you are?
Well, Gabby, there's not been too much festive cheer at Parkhead. It's Celtic 0, St Johnstone 0. Just 2 minutes left for playing. Pressure mounting on Celtic boss Neil Lennon. They've not won a home match since a 9-0 thrashing of Aberdeen on the 6th of November. They just had the best chance of the game. Fell to substitute Olivio Capo just 3 yards out. Somehow, though, he hit the ball into the ground. It came back off the top of the crossbar and straight into the arms of Peter Enkelman, the Saints keeper. But they now have a free kick just 12 yards out, and there's a Barney going on in the St Johnstone wall. 3 Celtic players, about half a dozen St Johnstone players there, and there's a yellow card being shown. I think it's to Alan Mabry, but Celtic still have the free kick, Gabby. They've been on top this afternoon without really creating many clear-cut chances. That one falling to Olivier Capel, the best of the game so far. Celtic, they need all 3 points to try and keep tabs on Rangers. Still Celtic 0, St Johnstone 0.
Thank you very much, Brian. There's a goal at Ewood Park. Andrew James.
It's gone to Stoke City. It's gone to the substitute Mark Wilson, turning the ball in neatly from 5 yards out from Fuller's pass, but he was completely unmarked. The points will be Stoke. It's the first time they've won against Blackburn at Ewood, first time they've scored goals against Blackburn at Ewood, but the home fans aren't happy. There's hardly any of them here, and the only fans remaining, 3,000 travelling Stoke fans. They lead Blackburn by 2-0, still in stoppage time, Gabby.
Did you see the goal?
It's the 2 substitutes that are involved. Fuller down the right-hand side, great cross. And then Wilson, I mean, his touch is superb. And then he just a crisp sort of half volley into the goal. And it's Tony Pulis, I think, realising this Blackburn team are there for the taking. I'm surprised Fuller was on the bench, really. But once he's got those boys on, and they've just, Blackburn is worrying for them now. Sam's gone. They've lost their rudder. And they look as if they're in trouble.
Well, just think, last year, Stoke City, one of the best teams at home, won double figures, 10 or 11 games. I mean, this is their 3rd away win. I think it's the first time they've won away on Boxing Day since 2000. So he'll be delighted. I saw Tony Pulis and John Rudge in the week. I went down to the training ground, just had a cup of tea with them, and that's what they were looking for. A good Christmas, it moves to that new year, get top half of the table, and it's a good win for them.
OK, well, it's full time at Old Trafford. These are the scenes there.
His former mentor, Sir Alex Ferguson. 2-0 United.
Damien, thank you. To Ewood Park, the full-time whistle has blown there. Stoke has their first Boxing Day win in the Premier League, and that man there has his first defeat as a caretaker manager, Steve Keown, that is. At Ewood Park for us, Andrew James.
Gabby, he'll be a very concerned man. I can't confirm that his suit and shoes were new, although they did look very smart, but he'll be worrying about his future after this one so soon, of course, after taking the job. Blackburn simply did not have a worthwhile effort on goal in the entire match. Stoke City won the game with goals from Huth straight after the restart, flying header from Etherington's corner, and then Mark Wilson just a few moments ago of the boys have described. Etherington was behind all of the good play from Stoke, but Blackburn didn't seem to have a single idea. They didn't have a worthwhile set play, and people will be asking if this is the future, if they are potential top 6, as Steve Keown has been saying. There was no evidence of it here today, as the Ewood stands emptied long before the final whistle. The final score then at Blackburn. Blackburn Rovers 0, Stoke City 2.
Something to cheer Brian McLaughlin, the dying moments at Celtic Park. You can see it there on the video printer. Celtic have got a goal.
Yeah, it's a goal, and what a goal it was, Gabby, to lift the Winter Blues here at Parkhead. Chadu Ree, the Celtic right back, went down the right-hand side, curled inside, and then on his left foot, curled the ball past the St Johnstone goalkeeper, Peter Enkelman, into the top corner of the net. Frustrating afternoon for Celtic, but they're the fans who are singing now. Celtic 1, St Johnstone 0, still playing stoppage time at Parkhead.
OK, full time now at St James's Park. Steve Sutton is there for...
On the top of the net. Newcastle simmered away until the 72nd minute when Andy Carroll's aerial threat finally paid off. He headed home a corner. City were determined to be party poopers, though. Carlos Tevez weaved his way into the Newcastle box, and his shot deflecting in off Colaccini's backside. Newcastle 1, Manchester City 3.
And it's all over at Molineux, a match with great implications for the bottom of the table. Steve Lee can tell you more.
Yes, boos ringing round Molineux for the home team, but a hugely significant result for Roberto Martinez and his Wigan players. They move out of the bottom 3 to leave poor old Mick McCarthy and Wolves rock bottom on Boxing Day. I think scrappy about the win. Wigan outplayed Wolves and played all the football. They were 2 up after 20 minutes. Hugo Rodallega had a great game. He got the first and created the second for another inspiring-looking player, Tom Cleverley, on loan from Man United. Stephen Fletcher snatched an undeserved late goal for Wolves. We might have expected a late rally. We didn't get it. Wigan were impressive. Wolves 1, Wigan 2.
And it's all over at the Reebok Stadium, and Bolton Wanderers have taken the points. That man there, Roberto Di Matteo's side, go home with nothing on Boxing Day. Mark Bishop.
Bolton Wanderers 2, West Bromwich Albion 0. Owen Coyle's side unrecognisable from the bad old boring days of Route 1 football. 25 points from 19 games, that speaks for itself, but they rode their luck today. Peter Onowingi for Albion squandered 2 great chances in the first half, twice beating the home side's offside trap, only to shoot wide from 6 yards and then missing a pass to Dorrans from close range. Why didn't he shoot for himself? Matt Taylor's first goal since April the 17th put Bolton ahead after good work from Chung Yong Lee on the byline. Albion stormed back to hit the bar through Chris Brunt in the second half. Cahill then blocking Ishmael Miller's close range effort. There was nothing Albion can do, and then the icing on the cake from the Swedish international Johan Almander. He's on fire at the moment, wrapping up the points with a cool finish, his 9th of the season. Bolton Wanderers go marching on. They've won by 2-0.
Mark, thank you. Let's go back to Celtic Park. Full-time whistle gone and another goal to tell us about. Brian McLaughlin, it's like finding their coin in the middle of the Christmas pudding.
They certainly have found it, although it was late in coming, Gabby. Finished Celtic 2, St Johnstone 0. Both goals coming in stoppage time at the end of a dramatic match. Chaduri scoring the first, a lovely left-foot curling shot into the top right-hand corner of the net. And then the second goal, St Johnstone were on the attack, was a breakaway from Celtic, and it was Capo who played the ball through to Key. He was all alone, just the keeper to beat, and he fired the ball into the roof of the net and eased the pressure on Celtic boss Neil Lennon. Parkhead have finished Celtic 2, St Johnstone 0.
All over at Fir Park as well. Ian Turner has seen Rangers put 4 past Motherwell.
That's right, it's 8 years to the day since Motherwell last beat Rangers, and they didn't even come close to bucking the trend today. Kenny Miller with a brace took his SPL tally for the season to 21. Motherwell defender Stephen Saunders scored the champion second, but the real star of the show was Vladimir Weiss, who scored the third and entertained throughout. John Sutton sneaked a goal Motherwell barely deserved, and without being spectacular, Weiss accepted. Rangers were comfortable winners. Motherwell 1, Rangers 4.
A late but crucial goal at Bramall Lane. Mark Webber.
Yes, heartbreak all over Sheffield. Sheffield United 2, well, half of it. Hull City 3. He came on as a sub and he's caused mayhem here. Simpson on the right, ball comes in. Steve Simonson gets a hand to it and Jimmy Bullard knocks it home. A good trip down the M62 tonight for some. Sheffield United 2, Hull City 3.
So a great late comeback there and a great comeback from the home side at the Walker Stadium. Tony Lockwood can tell us.
Leeds now unbeaten in 10, but this was all about Leicester City's comeback. They looked down and out when Max Gradle headed Leeds in front inside 20 minutes. Especially sweet for Gradle as it came against his former club. Robert Snodgrass smashed in a second, Leeds cruising, but Paul Gallagher's penalty changed all that. Captain Andy King completed the fight back. He struck from distance. Leicester had salvaged the point. Over 30,000 here. Leicester 2, Leeds United 2.
So Leeds dropping points is good news for Cardiff. Jason Mohammed.
And Craig Bellamy's been the big difference today, Gabby. He's given Richard Keown, the Coventry City right back, a Boxing Day runaround. He scored his 148th career goal and put in a terrific all-round captain's display. And had it not been for Kieran Westwood, it would have been a miserable Christmas for Adi Boothroyd. The Coventry keeper making 5, maybe 6 amazing saves. Shea Olafinyana scored a lovely first half goal created by, guess who? Craig Bellamy. Cardiff City 2, Coventry City 0.
And Burnley have done it. They've squeezed an away win in before the turn of the year. Alan Biggs.
Yes, at long last, an away win. It's come at the 10th attempt this season. Barnsley 1, Burnley 2, and a particularly big result for manager Brian Laws, I think, because rumours have been abounding that his job was on the line. He certainly made a big call today to turn things possibly. A dropping top scorer, Chris Iwelumo, and it paid off because the man coming in, John Guidetti, was a constant threat up front. And the 18-year-old on loan from Manchester City crowned his first start for Burnley with a crucial headed equaliser early in the second half. Within minutes, Burnley were in front through Andre Biquet, another header, this from a corner. So Adam Hamill's first half goal wiped out, and Burnley could have had a few more as well. Impressive win for them and Brian Laws. Barnsley 1, Burnley 2.
What a huge psychological weight off their shoulders, that must be. OK, let's go to Bramall Lane. Full-time whistle's gone there. Mark Webber.
It seemed like an eternity. Sheffield United 2, Hull City 3. He hasn't played for 2 months, but he's caused a cancellation of Christmas in the red and white half of Sheffield. Jimmy Bullard's rebound tapping that sealed-in win for Hull. After Sheffield United came back from a 2-0 down lead in the first half, there's been 10-man brawls, there's been blood on the pitch. Don't watch a Christmas movie tonight, watch the Football League show. Sheffield United 2, Hull City 3.
OK, let's get all today's classified results now.
And kicking off as usual with the Barclays Premier League, Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur have an evening kick-off at 5:30. Blackburn Rovers 0, Stoke City 2. Blackpool's match with Liverpool postponed. Bolton Wanderers 2, West Bromwich Albion 0. Everton's match with Birmingham postponed. Fulham 1, West Ham United 3. Manchester United 2, Sunderland 0. Newcastle United 1, Manchester City 3. And Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Wigan Athletic 2. In the Championship, Barnsley 1, Burnley 2. Cardiff City 2, Coventry City 0. Crystal Palace and Norwich City, Derby County, Doncaster Rovers, Ipswich Town and Watford, all those 3 matches postponed. Leicester City 2, Leeds United 2. Middlesbrough's match with Nottingham postponed. Portsmouth 1, Millwall 1. Queen's Park Rangers 4, Swansea City 0. Reading 4, Bristol City 1. Scunthorpe United's match with Preston North End postponed. Sheffield United 2, Hull City 3. And as you see in the Empire League 1, all matches except one postponed, and that one match, Huddersfield Town 0, Hartlepool United 1. And in League 2, the same situation. The only match played, Wycombe Wanderers 2, Hereford United 1. In the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Celtic 2, St Johnstone 0. Dundee United against Hamilton Academical postponed. Hibernian 1, Aberdeen 2. Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1, St Mirren 2. Kilmarnock's match with Hearts postponed. And Motherwell 1, Rangers 4. In the Unbrew Scottish Division 1, all but one match there postponed. The one match being Partick Thistle 0, Wraith Rovers 0. And in Scottish Div 2, the same situation. The match there, the only one played, Alloa Athletic 2, Livingston 2.
Let's have a little look then at the tables and the Premier League first. Manchester United remain 2 points clear at the top, having beaten Sunderland to maintain their unbeaten record. Manchester City up to second thanks to their victory at St James's Park. Arsenal will overtake City if they beat Chelsea tomorrow night. Bolton climb to fifth after beating West Brom, while Stoke are up to eighth. At the bottom, Wolves dropped to the foot of the table after their defeat to Wigan, who move out of the bottom 3. West Ham climb off the bottom following their victory at Fulham at lunchtime, and that result means Mark Hughes' side drop into the relegation zone. And the Championship. QPR returned to winning ways with victory over fellow high flyers Swansea. The R's are now 4 points clear of the chasing pack. Cardiff are back up to second after they won. Leeds threw away a 2-0 lead at Leicester and slipped to third. Elsewhere, Reading and Burnley both recorded impressive wins to close in on the playoff places. At the bottom, none of the bottom 4 were in action, so the gap between Middlesbrough in 21st and bottom club Preston stays 2 points. Sheffield United lost, so they remain just 4 points clear of trouble. And to League One, just one game survived the weather. Hartlepool up to 10th after a surprise win at third-placed Huddersfield. And at the bottom, it's as you were. Yeovil, Walsall, Dagenham and Bristol Rovers occupy the relegation places. To League Two, Wycombe took advantage of their rivals' inactivity to move up to 5th, level on points with Bury, who occupy the last automatic promotion place. Hereford stay anchored to the foot of the Football League after that defeat at Wycombe, and the Bulls are 4 points adrift of safety. To the SPL then, Rangers stay 2 points ahead of their old firm rivals after they both won today. Celtic needed injury-time goals to see off St Johnstone, whereas Rangers enjoyed a less stressful afternoon. At the other end, Aberdeen won for the first time under Craig Brown to move off the bottom. Hamilton, who were not in action, replaced them at the foot of the SPL. Let's get the headlines then from the Premier League today. Bolton 2, West Brom 0. Informed Bolton rise to 5th in the table. Goals from Matt Tabor and Johan Elmander sinking West Brom. Wolves 1, Wigan 2. Wolves hit rock bottom and defeat to Wigan at Molineux. Goals from Hugo Rodallega and Tom Cleverley lift the Latics out of the relegation zone. Blackburn 0, Stoke 2. Robert Huth and Mark Wilson earned the Potters the points at Ewood Park, meaning Steve Keane remains without a win since he took over as caretaker boss of Blackburn Rovers. Let's go to Old Trafford now and check in with our reporter for Match of the Day, our commentator even, Jonathan Pearce is there for us. Good afternoon, good evening.
Happy Christmas, Gabby.
A very good evening for Manchester United, a very good afternoon. A blistering form, the pundits said in the first half.
Absolutely. I mean, they started in sparkling fashion. They scored after 4 minutes. Berbatov, lovely pass to him, crossed by Wayne Rooney. They could have had 4 by the quarter-hour mark. Berbatov himself drove against the post. Anderson curled one against the post. Gordon was tested from range. Then they took their foot off the pedal a little bit. Sunderland got a foothold in the game, but just at the start of the second half, Berbatov's second deflected in off Anton Ferdinand put the result beyond Sunderland. You can't judge them on this, Gabby, because they were missing too many players. Men at the back like Turner and Mensah. Welbeck, who's been in fine form for them, couldn't play against his parent club Manchester United, who was simply too good on the day. You know, the last time Sunderland won at Manchester United was May 1968. It denied United the title. It gave Manchester City the title that day. They won at Newcastle, I seem to remember. There was no danger, though, today of Sunderland denying Manchester United anything.
So good as well, weren't they, Sunderland last week, putting together some real form.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Sunderland up to today were unbeaten against top 5 clubs, but they were simply missing too many men. Manchester United are beginning to get up ahead of steam. Rooney didn't score, but he's coming back to form. The goals will come. We know Berbatov has been in impressive form. He's already got 2 hat-tricks they could have had this season, could have had a third today, but just as important for them, they've got Carrick returning to form, finding the range of his passes. Anderson returning to form. Now, there were question marks about Anderson and Carrick's future at Manchester United just a few months ago. They're a very important part now of this machine that is grinding up through the gears and beginning to find a real rhythm. Giggs floated like he used to in the opening 15 minutes of the game. Poor old Al Mohammadi had twisted blood at times, but then Sunderland did get, you know, a little bit of a purchase in the game, a little bit of a foothold in the game, but Manchester United could and should have won it by 4 or 5.
Lovely Christmas scarf as well, Jonathan, we all think.
Cornish tartan from Weybridge and Cornwall, Mere. This is Cornish tartan. Thank you very much.
You say something about a tart or something? I don't know. Christmas tart or something he had, I don't know. Manchester United, we've all been saying, you know, the first few months of the season, they certainly weren't in the right gears, were they? And the last few weeks we've seen signs of them coming together, and they turn the year top of the table. It looks ominous for the rest, doesn't it?
Well, just as Jonathan said there, Giggs turned back the clock. I mean, coming in from the left-hand side, just playing some good 1-2s and crossing balls. And as I said, Rooney didn't score, but he's been an influence in the team. You know, he's working really hard. I think that's 7 goals in some like 4 games for Berbatov. I mean, he had a great start, and then he had a little lull, and then he's come back again when it counts, I suppose, over the Christmas period, and try and build a little lead up at the top. But it's going to be a tight race to the title. I still think Chelsea not out of this.
I think Anderson coming back into that midfield for Manchester United, and everything's just going right, and Alex just squeezing everything out of this group of players. And at the moment, they just look. I mean, the game, of course, tomorrow now, Chelsea, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Both those teams just got to win it, otherwise they're completely out of it.
OK, let's get the reaction now from the lunchtime kick-off, which affected, of course, matters at the other end of the table at Craven Cottage. John Motson with the interviews here.
Well, Avram, West Ham's first away win since the first day of last season. You must be fairly pleased with that.
Very pleased, and I'm sure it's not the last this season. It's very tough to play here, and what the boys played, play to win, and that's what's important.
Obviously, second half we had to chase the game somewhat. West Ham obviously were able to defend what they had, and were able to get another goal on the break. So disappointing, because obviously from the first 35 minutes it was a game there for us to take.
2 goals for Carlton Cole, who today he's talking on the pitch.
Yes, he's talking on the pitch like he needs to play. He had our times. He did, you know, every football player's had it. But I must tell you that in the last week he's trying very, very hard, much harder than he did before. And when you train hard and you have the quality, you got the reward.
I really had to
pull my weight around today because I knew I had another big striker up there with me, and I know he can really cause a lot of havoc to the defence. So I had to use him as a decoy, and he'd done the same. We played off each other today, and that's what we're here for. And we need to score goals, and that's the only way we're going to get out of trouble.
It's now put West Ham level on points with you, and you've got 2 away games coming up. What sort of predicament does that leave you in over the rest of the Christmas programme?
Well, we looked at this game, and obviously it was one that we felt we could have got 3 points in, and certainly from the open exchanges, that's what we thought was going to happen. But football changes very, very quickly, and some of the breaks that you need, unfortunately, aren't quite going for us at the moment. But as I said, there's a lot of games in a short space of time now, and a quick turnaround. We've got 48 hours to prepare, and we get on with it.
Now, it was reported, rightly or wrongly, that you had to win one of these 3 games as a manager. Well, you've won it.
Nobody said it to me, but you know, when you're bottom, everybody can say his opinion. It's okay with this. I need to do my job.
Tough old Christmas for the manager?
Yeah, but I mean, we're working really hard. They're a good group of players. Today, it didn't happen for us, unfortunately, in that second half. But like I said, we got a game very, very quickly. We've got to pick ourselves up and go again.
Indeed, they have. They've gone from, being the draw specialists who just seem to be a few places above the drop zone. Now, the worst kind of Christmas present, Martin. They're right there in the bottom 3 and looking like it's going to be a struggle ahead for the next
They
few
are,
months.
and psychologically as well, when you suddenly go into the bottom 3, it's how you cope with that. And Mark Hughes has a real job on his hands now to manage this team. Stay patient with his players. I mean, it's Roy Hodgson's successes that he's coming in after. It's a difficult situation for him, but Avram Grant today, of course, getting what he wanted. I mean, they played with Keown up front today with Cole, and Cole looked a completely different player. It looked like he was an England player suddenly again today. So, changing fortunes, but tough times to be a manager.
And still a tough journey ahead for West Ham. It's tough few months ahead. This win and last week's draw doesn't mean they're out of it completely.
Yeah, I was over at West Ham. I can't remember, they're playing Man City at home, and Jonathan Pearce was there. And Jonathan Pearce said they need 4 points every 3 games from now to the end of the season to get 40 points to survive. And he said, do you see them getting it? And on that form, I didn't. But today, they were excellent. But, with Fulham, they've won 2 games.
Need to hold on to Parker as well in the transfer window.
Well, Parker's signed a new contract. He doesn't look like he's going to go. Well, I don't think he will go. But just that West Ham now, obviously trying to build on this, or that loss against Liverpool 3-1, this can obviously catapult them forward. But who do they play? Everton, Wolves, Newcastle next. You've got to say, against Everton, anything could go. Wolves, they've got to win that. Next thing you know, they're out of the bottom.
Well, Newcastle today suffered at the hands of Man City. They went down 3-1 at St James's Park. So that's 1-1, lost 1 for new manager Alan Pardew. He's there talking to Steve Sutton right now.
Well, Alan, I guess no matter what plans you make, no matter what you say before a match like that, after a minute or so, and then after 5 minutes, it's all out of the window, isn't it? Well,
it doesn't help. I mean, we made 2 big errors in the game, and it's put us on the back foot. But the performance after that was, in my view, sensational at times. Against the top team, I thought we caused them a lot of problems. But obviously, it's you can't give a team of that quality that start.
There was a glimmer of hope late on in that second half, wasn't there?
Well, once we got, we said the next goal was obviously going to be crucial. We scored it, and we were bossing the game at that point. And a little bit of luck, we had a couple of chances to have got the equaliser. And obviously we're disappointed with the third goal because it's taken a real slice of luck to knock the wind out of ourselves.
That must have been a real body blow, that, because like you say, you were pressing very, very hard. That was a cruel blow, wasn't it?
It was, and I just, I thought the commitment of the players and the attitude towards the performance was spot on. I couldn't fault them for that. But, this isn't the first time that we've made gifted goals this year, and it's something we've got to eradicate from the team, and we've got to do it fast. And, even the top teams make errors, but we made a few too many, really, in our last third, and we need to make sure they cut them out.
Match of the Day commentator Guy Mowbray is there at St James's Park. It was the first 5 minutes that killed Newcastle United, wasn't it?
That was exactly right, Gabby. Yes, that was the difference. Tim Krul gave the ball away. Carlos Tevez got the ball, gave it to Gareth Barry. He scored. Then, 2 minutes later, Cheick Tiote gave the ball away. Carlos Tevez scored 2-0. From that point on, you could argue that for long spells, Newcastle were the better team. And Alan Pardew is absolutely right. You couldn't fault the commitment and the effort of the Newcastle players one little bit. Nothing's changed from that point of view. They are playing for him in the 2 games that they've played so far. Just a little too far for them to get right back into it, although, as he said, they did have chances. As for City, yeah, they play well in patches. I think every individual you could look at and say, yeah, you had a good game. But as a team, heard you talking earlier, calling Manchester United a machine. They're not that yet.
Balotelli was displaying body language which displeased those around me. Tevez certainly shook his manager's hand. What's going on with him?
Yeah, well, we've seen Carlos Tevez, haven't we, so many times this season be substituted and react wrongly to it. Today he went off to a hero's reception from the City fans. It would seem that all is well again in World Tevez. As for Balotelli's world, well, it's a bit of a crazy place. Came on, got booked, went home. He didn't really move around a lot when he came on. If he's cold, it was his own fault.
Well, you go warm up and have a lovely rest of your
Christmas. Not so bad. Not so bad.
Good, OK. Let's see the best of the action from the lunchtime match of the Championship, QPR Swansea with Martin Fisher.
Durant again, he's away from Allen. Taking on Monk, away from him too. Setting up Mackie! Goal QPR! And look at this from the right back, what a run. Might go all the way here. Brought down by Tate right on the edge. Well, it must be a card of some colour, surely. Well, I think there'd be one or two that would... Oh, actually, off the ball here. Tate and Mackie have got involved. And it's all spinning out of control here. Initially, it was Mackie with Tate. Then Jamie Mackie needlessly gets involved. Then Clint Hill comes to his aid. And it all gets a little bit unnecessary. Very untidy here. Red card for Alan Tate. Clint Hill must... Let's see these cards. It's a red card. Clint Hill goes as well. Helgeson trying to make something of this. What a touch. Taarabt is in. Taarabt brought down by Williams. It'll be a penalty. Can Helgeson put away their 9th opportunity and put the game beyond Swansea? Pratley. Helgeson's layoff. It's Taarabt, set up the first 2 goals. Can he settle it here? Queen's Park Rangers, 3 goals this afternoon. Oh, brilliant, through the legs of Allen. Is there a finish? There is! Brilliant, Taarabt! What an inspiration he has been to Queen's Park Rangers. Not just today, but all season.
Which means that they're 4 points clear at the top of the Championship tonight. Had a little wobble, lost at home to Watford, lost away to Leeds, but looked like they were back on track today, QPR.
They go right through to Christmas virtually without losing a game, and fantastic under Neil Warnock, and then lost back-to-back. I have to say, against Watford, Taarabt was, I thought, awful. Today, he was as good as he was bad against Watford. He was absolute genius. He was sensational.
A frustrating player to have in your team in many ways.
He's taken him from Tottenham. He knows that he's not the... At times, I mean, he's a very frustrating player, but when he's in form, he's buzzing with confidence today, and he really has won that game for his team. They went down to 10 men. OK, both teams had 10 men, but he was the player, the standout player for them today, and he just needs to keep that going, and QPR will end up in the Premiership.
OK, thank you very much. You enjoy the rest of your Boxing Day. I'm sure there's some turkey leftovers in the Bright homes and the Keown home. And you can have your say on 6:06 on Radio 5 Live with Darren Fletcher and Robbie Savage. From all of us, though, a very good night. Bye-bye.